Today, we're going to be testing out Skywork and its new AI super agent update for the release of PowerPoint presentations. So you can basically automate presentations using these Skywork super agents. And basically, it's a really good solution for creating presentations, right? It offers three different modes. You got deep, fast, and lightning, and you can switch between them down here. So for example, fast mode is designed for efficient content creation with simplified steps. You've got deep mode, which offers more like advanced features, stronger models, detailed content, professional level search. And then you got lightning mode as well, which is even faster for generation speed, optimized templates, and structured content, right? So we're going to switch to lightning mode now, which is the new update. And essentially, this is like a AI powered feature that creates presentation slide decks around about 60 seconds or less. All right. So we're going to test this out and we're going to go over to Skywork here. And if we say, right, okay, let's select the template. Let's see what we got here. So we can choose a bunch of really nice templates. So you can switch between, for example, all these different styles. And then you can select which color, style, and scenario you're using this for, right? So for example, it could be like business inquiry, education and training, healthcare, lifestyle, market research, etc. And then over here, you can actually switch between the colors. So if you have a certain brand color in mind that you really like, then you can choose one of those, for example, like this. And then on top of that, you can actually pick which style you prefer. So for example, it could be like magazine style or fresh style, etc. So if we take one of these templates and we're going to try this out. So we'll go for minimalist style. And actually, let's have a look what else we got here. Which one do I like? All right, we'll try this one. So template, use this template, then we can select that as the template for our lightning presentation. So it's pretty easy and simple to set up, and then you can start using it like so. And then once you've selected your template and which mode you want to create the presentation from, you can enter the topics, right? Now, you can add a reference file as well. And the reference file is pretty good because then you can basically choose, okay, what do you want to use this for and how do you want to use it? So we're going to try this 1 minute presentation style now. Let's go over here and we'll say, right, okay, create a presentation about the future of AI agents. You can plug in a source here as well. So you can see here, it's got a source and you can upload knowledge or professional data, links in text, etc. And then we're going to hit enter. Now it's going to start generating like so. And the cool thing about this is like usually if I'm creating presentations with, for example, like other AI super agents like GenSpark or Manus, they can take anywhere between like 5 to 15 minutes to generate each time. Whereas this moves about 5 times faster. It actually has links to search, so it can actually search the web and then pull in sources here using its MCP search web tool. And now you can see it's pulling in all the information from across the web to start designing that presentation. The other cool thing here as well is like I don't have to edit it manually, don't have to mess around with, I don't know about you, but my design skills are not great. So that takes a long time as well. Compared to PowerPoint, which is what I used to use like back in the day, especially at university or for work or for client pitches, etc., you can easily start like automating a lot of these processes and just move 10 times faster, right? And you can also edit the content outline as well before you generate the presentation if you prefer. So that's pretty cool. And now you can see we've got a full presentation ready to go, right? It was incredibly easy. And then you've got here at the top, so you can switch between the preview or the code, right? So if you want to embed the code onto a web page, you can, or you can switch over to the preview here. You can download this. So if we click on download, we can actually download this as a PowerPoint, a PDF, HTML, or Google Slides. So we can just click on, for example, PDF, right? So that's going to download now. And then you can also save this as a template. So if you create a custom design that you want to use again, then you can save that as a template just to save time in the future. And additionally, you can open this up on a new tab, right? So if you open this up on a new tab, if we, for example, share this tab here, you can see the full presentation and you can flick between each process and everything here, right? So super easy and simple to set up. Doesn't take a long time. We've got a really nicely design presentation. If we have a look as well, like you see how it's added like really nice images too. And then it's customized the presentation to exactly what we want to talk about. By the way, this is just like one feature of Skywork, but you can see how easy it is to use. And then you've got like some images throughout the content here as well. Right? There's going to be certain parts that you do want to edit before you send. So for example, here you can see there's some quote marks. So we just want to make sure that if we go back to Skywork here, we want to click on edit. And then inside the edit mode here, we can actually edit and change certain parts, right? So for example, if we wanted to add a quote inside this section, we can type that in here. Or if we don't want to use it at all, then you can actually remove these elements, right? So if we click on delete and delete, you can delete those, right? So it's pretty simple and easy to navigate and just click through. And then basically you can automate PowerPoint presentations in like one click. It's crazy. In like 60 seconds as well. The other cool thing as well is like you can use something like Gamma, but the thing is with Skywork, it's basically offering like broader search, deeper information, and better like visual charts because you can use that template browsing, you can drag and drop, you can use it real time and everything like that. So it's pretty exciting, pretty interesting to use. Lots of different use cases for this as well. One of the things that I would use for it personally is just really creating these presentations and then using them for like live streams or videos in the future, right? So for example, if I wanted to present on a certain topic, I could say to Skywork, okay, go off, do all the research on this topic, create a presentation about it, and then I can present that on the actual videos that I create, right? So that's one example. It would make content creation a lot faster. And then also client pitches, right? So for example, you could go back here. Let's X off that. And let's say we were using the slides feature at Lightning. Again, like you can use deep mode if you want like better research, and I would recommend that for more complex topics as well. But if we picked like a random example like so, use this template, we could say, right, okay, create a presentation for my client, and you know, you can type whatever your client is, where I'll be pitching the SEO in my sales school, right? And we can just change that for whatever the client name is. So let's say, I don't know, we're pitching Nestle about SEO in my sales school. So if we hit enter like so, that's going to now start creating a sales presentation and a proposal that we can easily automate using this process as well. So that's another option there too. And, you know, also we've all been there, right? Like your boss needs a pitch deck right now, or you have some sort of emergency presentation to do, and you need something that's fast, but also quality, right? All you do is you just go straight over to Lightning mode inside Skywork, start generating the presentation, and then boom, you're ready to go, aren't you? Like so, right? And then you see unlock growth, SEO proposal for Nestle. So it's actually customized the whole presentation to the client. Super easy and fast to do. And then you've, you know, in under 1 minute, you've got a full presentation ready deck, right? Quality is pretty nice as well. So it's got some nice images. It's got information. You could upload some sources as well, which would include like information about you, your business, who you are, etc. And then from here, you can easily start generating this, right? And you can also see here, for example, okay, it's talked about the ROI of SEO, why it surpasses content or technical fixes, why it's a long-term investment, and then you've got all this information right here, right? Now, the other cool thing as well, inside Skywork, if we go over here, we can actually upload a custom knowledge base, right? So you can actually upload information files based on how you want to create content and customize it in the future. And then additionally, if we go over to schedule tasks, you can actually schedule tasks in the future too, right? So this isn't just for creating presentations. presentation feature is really cool, but you can do a lot of other cool stuff in there as well, right? So for example, documents, slides, sheets, even creating podcasts is pretty simple and easy. And then you could actually say, right, okay, create a podcast every day, right? Or create some slides and new presentations for my videos every day based on what's going on in the web, right? So for example, if you wanted to automate your PowerPoint presentations, and let's say you were doing daily webinars or daily presentations or daily trainings to your team, well, what you could do here is you can say, okay, the future of AI, and then you can say, okay, please provide a summary of the latest breakthrough achievements in the AI field, focusing on artificial intelligence. Let's say I was doing this for my channel. And then we say, right, for each area, list 2 to 3 technological advances or innovative products, briefly describe their breakthroughs, potential applications, and impacts on society, right? And then you say, right, okay, do this presentation at, let's say, 3 a.m. every day, so that when I log in at like 6 a.m. to do my live streams on YouTube or my trainings for my team, etc., then we can hit confirm, and that is ready to go each day. Right? And so you can schedule these tasks in, use the AI agent to create presentations, and then also quickly generate presentations on autopilot and research and not even think about it, right? So it saves a lot of time. And then also you've got a bunch of other features here. So for example, this is pretty interesting. You've got UVibe, it's called. And with this, it's like a video learning and creation tool, right? So you can actually add a YouTube link and it will generate documents, slides, podcasts, mind maps, and everything else using that too. Now, if we go back to slides, let's do another test here. So I'm just going to pick out another template. Let's go with the Business Insights report. Hit confirm. You can toggle on search or toggle it off. And you can also add scenes and preset prompts, right? Now, over here, we're going to say, right, okay, create a presentation on the new ChatGPT 5.1 update and give a tutorial on how to rank with SEO, right? And then what I'm going to do is under the sources section here, we're going to add a new link and you can paste in the text all the information from whatever source you want to use, right? Now that's pretty important because now you can train the AI agent that's creating presentations to basically use this for generating content as well. So let me show you how that works, right? So let's say, for example, we have a new video on how to use AI for ranking with SEO, right? Something like that. So you can take the transcript from your video like this, then you can go back over to Skywork, paste in that text, hit confirm again, and then you can say, right, okay, create a presentation on this, blah, 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 hit enter. And based on the sources and the text that we plugged in, we can now generate the responses. You can also have multiple different AI agents working in the background. And you can also add more sources here. So if you're not getting like the results that you want, then you can actually add more links, more text, more cloud uploads, and more knowledge about you and who you are, right? So what I would normally do is like inside the knowledge base here, you could add information about you, your business, your agency, whatever you're trying to sell, and then it would tailor all the information and the way the content is presented based on that. So you can see here it says your request has been received. Skywork is organizing the information to provide a comprehensive and accurate answer, blah, 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 help you create the presentation and convert the text. And now it's generating that over here. Now, depending on how complex that is, it may take a bit longer. So for example, if I've plugged in a lot of information here, probably going to take a bit longer to generate the response. But it's pretty automated and easy to do. So that's basically it. That's generating now. We've got our other presentations here. So for example, I've shown you how to create this as well. You can easily edit it too. So you can edit all the text, the images, etc. You can also change like the fonts at the top here too, change the colors, replace the images too. So if we click on this, click on replace image, that you can actually upload an image directly, or you can click on add to chat and then insert some information about how you want to change the image or add more text, etc. Right. So if you're not happy with some of these images, it's quite easy to change. You can delete them as well, add them to chat, etc. Right? And then if you make any changes but you don't like them, you can flick through undo and redo, change the font size, etc. So that is pretty much it. I actually have a coupon code and a link inside the description if you want to check out Skywork and the presentation feature. You can get 20% off, plus there's a big discount on the yearly price as well. So link in the comments and description to that. Make sure you check it out, but really cool tool to check out for sure. So next up, what we're going to do is we're going to run through the new update on Google Gemini. Now, if you haven't seen this before, I'll come on to it. But basically with Gemini and the new update, they have something called flows. So I'm just going to pull that up. All right, so this is flows, as you can see. Back in a sec. All right, so today we're going to basically show you how to use Workspace flows, which is a new update from Google Gemini. And you can see over here, you can start using it. Now, if you want to toggle this on, all you do is you click on flows at the top over here, and you make sure you have this toggled on inside your workspace. All right. So once you've done that, then you're going to go to Workspace flows. If you've not seen this before, this is basically a new update from Google and Google Gemini. And it's an AI agent that can automate work across your different tasks. Now, you've kind of got like these AI agent workflows that you can use to create agents, to automate certain tasks, and you can even connect these to third parties as well. So let me show you exactly how this works. We're going to test this out. So if we go to C templates over here, and then inside the C templates, you can start automating your work with the AI agents, right? And there's a bunch of different options here. So for example, you can get news headlines summarized daily. You could, for example, label emails with action items, and you can get a daily summary of unread emails. So it basically automates a lot of different tasks, and you can see which different apps you would use inside each process. So for example, you could notify yourself for emails with a keyword, and they'll actually drop a message over to you here. You could get pre-meeting briefs in a chat, as you can see. You've got all these different options for automating the AI agents and then starting to use these processes. So for example, if we say notify me about emails from key people, like so. Let's test this out. So it's kind of like a really easy drag and drop two-step process. And then we can say, right, okay, any emails from juliangoldie@gmail.com. and it has the words. So you can actually limit those emails like so. Then it will summarize and notify you in chat, right? So it will actually summarize what this person has said to you. So you've got the prompt on the right-hand side here. So it's like, right, here's what to summarize the email. And then you've got the email thread over here, right? And then inside the additional instruction section, you can see the goal, the instructions, and exactly what it's going to do step by step, right? So if we click on turn on, that will switch the agent on, or we can click on test run and just try it out. So let's do a test run. So we're going to say, right, okay, when I get an email, start this out. So we're going to click on start now. And we have to just make sure that we're selecting all emails as well, I believe. There we go. Let's try that again. And then it's going to do a test run using existing data. So you can see the email result received over here. We'll click on start. And then it's like, right, when I get an email, so for example, this email received right here, and we can see an example of the email too. So for example, this is the email that's been sent, and this is the one that's being used for the example test, right, which is from LinkedIn. So when we receive this email, then it's going to actually use that flow to summarize the email. So if we go back to flows.workspace.google.com, you can now see that when we get that email, it's going to summarize the information. And then it's like, right, here's what I think needs your response. And it gives me like the FYI, right? So you can see here, for example, it says the ChatGPT 5.1 update introduces two distinct personalities. And it's quite interesting here because it's basically read through the whole email and then said, right, here's the information that you need to know. And then it sent a message to Google Chat. And so inside Google Chat, we receive a message from Gemini directly. Right? So it's so easy to automate these workflows. It's a lot easier than using something like, this reminds me kind of like Zapier, but it's a lot easier than using something like Zapier because it's pre-made, right? You got these pre-made templates. And also you don't need to connect any APIs. And as far as I'm aware, I think as long as you're on the Google Workspace, it's just a feature that's included, right? So I don't think you pay any extra for it. It's just kind of included if you're on like the Gemini. I think it'd be Pro plan that you're on right there. So really easy to set up. Let's try another one now. So we've got that all ready to go. We can also go back to my AI agents over here. We can edit, test, check the activity, etc. So if we go to activity, you can see this has been running. And it says data available for 40 days. So it must be like basically when you run these workflows, you'll have the history for the last 40 days, right? And then you can switch between all types, right? So for example, the tasks that are complete, in progress, had issues, and then you can refresh too. Pretty simple and easy to do. Now, if we go back to the Discover tab here, we can test more stuff, and we can also describe a task that we want to do, right? So for example, you could say, right, create an SEO blog each day about the latest AI updates. So you can actually schedule a task and then it would generate that inside your Google Workspace. And this could be, for example, setting a reminder, managing requests, catching up on yesterday, or even just labeling your emails, right? So you can see the prompts you could use. So for example, every Friday, ping me to update my tracker. Every time I get an email, decide if there's a question for me. And if there is, ping me. Every morning, catch me up on yesterday's unread emails and chat. And then if an email contains a question or an action item, label the email as to respond. So let's try this one. We're going to click on every morning, catch me up on yesterday's unread emails, hit create like so. And then we're now generating and creating the workflow. So it's basically on the schedule. So it said, right, okay, every Monday at 8 a.m. do this, right? And we repeat that daily. Now you could repeat it multiple times per day as well. So if you want to schedule the task a few times a day, you can, if you really want to. And you can switch between weekly, every other week, monthly, annually, every weekday, etc. Right. And then under the show more section here, you can select the time zone. So that time zone is going to correlate to that time over here. Once you've done that, then you're going to switch over to actions. And this is a prompt. Now, this is pre-filled in because we're using the templates. You can always customize this however you want to. But the main point here is you can automate the workflows. And again, it's pretty easy and simple to set up, right? So for example, filter the emails, identify action items based on those emails, identify themes. And you've basically got like an automated email agent that can search for your emails, figure everything out, run through it. And the cool thing about this is it's not going to cost you an extra subscription like most other AI super agents. And then additionally, it's fully automated for you and you can use the templates so that everything is kind of like working in one ecosystem. And then you've got the formatting, how to categorize stuff, etc. Right? From there, you can also notify yourself in chat, and you can add a new step here if you want to as well. So that could be, for example, asking Gemini or asking a gem. Now, this is interesting too, because if you ask a gem, basically what you're doing is you're kind of linking any sort of custom AI agents that you've built inside Gemini to your workflow. So what do I mean by that? Well, for example, if we go over to Gemini here, let's say we're using, for example, an SEO content writer to generate content for our workflow, right? We could actually integrate that and automate it and build these custom gems. And then what we can do is use that inside our workflow inside of Google Flows. As an example of that, let's go back. So you can see over here, we have the ask a gem option, and then we can select our gem. We've got a bunch of options here, and you can use these gems to generate your outputs, right? Now you can click on create or edit gems as well, and then edit your own gems over here. And then you can enter a prompt plus add variables, right? So if you add a variable, what you can actually do is tag in that step from the workflow. So you can say, right, okay, using the unread emails, right? So if we type in, if we click on this, select unread emails, then we can ask the gem information about the information from step 1 or step 2. So we can reference different previous steps to build that workflow out. And then you can also see here, you can switch between what sources Gemini can use. So for example, web, workspace, and connected apps, or web only. Now, what's pretty cool about this as well is that you could add a step here. And then you could say, right, okay, send an email or add labels or remove labels or draft a reply, right? So you can actually automate your emails fully, draft replies each time, and then use that to basically automate your processes here as well, right? Really, really cool stuff. And the other cool thing about this as well is like, for us, we spend about, I think it's like $500 a month on Zapier requests, right? And it gets pretty expensive. Whereas with this, you can create workflows for no extra price inside your Google Workspace using the Ultra plan instead. And then, you don't need to worry about any issues. You can also link this with your CRM. So you got, for example, Salesforce over here, QuickBooks integrations, MailChimp integrations, Jira, Confluence. So you can link this to other different CRMs too. And then you can additionally set up meetings and that sort of thing, right? So it's actually overwhelming how much you can do with this and how easy it is to use, but it's really exciting. Lots of cool stuff there. Again, you can see the activity. And the other cool thing here as well is you can actually link this, right? So you can share this link with other people, create custom workflows, and then use those to share that information with other people and get them involved too. So it's absolutely endless what you can do with this, but really fun to play with it too. And if you go back to discover here, you can again like describe what you want to do, how you want to do it. And then The other cool thing here is you've got different categories. So you could say, right, okay, I want to focus on improving our meetings. So we could get pre-meeting chats. We could send guest summaries. We could send summaries and action items, get meeting reminders by email and chat, etc. You can also connect your team. So you could auto request team updates weekly, right? So for example, if there's certain updates and management reports that you need from your team, you can automatically request them using this over here, right? And then you got tasks and actions. The only thing that I don't like here is like it links a lot to Google Chat, but I don't know about you, but I don't use Google Chat at all. So I think like they're trying to encourage people to use it, or they're just trying to find easy ways to work around maybe some stuff that's missing inside the ecosystem of Google. But either way, it's pretty cool, and there's so much you can do with this. All right. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get help, coaching, advice, etc., feel free to get the AI Profit Boardroom. It's basically the best community that I've ever built. And essentially, what you can do is join the AI Profit Boardroom, and inside there, you get access to an awesome community, as you can see right here. So you can get an awesome community of people sharing, learning, growing together, all this different cool stuff. We actually shared a bunch of new training here on like how to get podcasts, for example. You can see we've got a bunch of other stuff right here. So for example, Steve is sharing like how he created YouTube thumbnails as a visual hook, all sorts of amazing stuff. And you can post inside the community, super active, lots of cool people in there. And you can connect with a bunch of people who are serious about growing their business and automating with AI. You can also see that it comes with all of our best classrooms and courses. So for example, we have a 6-week AI automation masterclass, as you can see, with all of these different sections here, where you can learn about AI. You can go from like beginner to expert. You can see how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. You also get all of my best automations on, like, for example, how to automate your emails, how we reach 6 million people per month with X and Twitter, how we automate our shorts, how we get sales from Instagram using shorts, and how we automate AI avatar videos, along with loads of other cool stuff here too. On top of that, you get our affiliate marketing course, lead generation automations, email and content automations, NA10 templates, basically everything you need to automate your business. And if you want to land more clients and grow your AI automation agency, we have a full agency course here. You can also watch our private vault of coaching calls and Q&A call recordings. And additionally, you can see that we have a full module on AI SEO and our best automations there, and a full course on how to automate YouTube and start scaling with YouTube too. We also have 5 live coaching calls per week, so you can jump on these live coaching calls, get help, support, etc. And then you can sign up here, and we have a limited time only discount. The other cool thing about the AI Profit Boardroom too is like you can sign up. If you don't like it, no problem. You can actually get your money back within 7 days. So feel free to sign up right there. Yeah. And I hope to see you inside the AI Profit Boardroom. We also have a free group as well. So inside the free group, we have 36,000 members. You can see that we're just constantly posting new trainings, new interesting stuff, etc., all the time, trying to help people. And inside the classroom here, we have loads of free trainings. So you can see all these different free trainings you can get access to. And additionally, you will get access to a supportive community. You can ask questions, you can learn and grow from everyone inside the group. So thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you inside the AI Profit Boardroom. See you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.